Finally, in this presentation, I think it's also important to discuss both onboarding and success rates. Onboarding means how much or how many of the campaigns that want to be published actually get published on the platform after the filtering. And success means how many of the campaigns launched actually reach the goal sum that they aimed for. And we see that this differs dramatically between models, but all in all, the closer that we become or move towards investment models, then we see lower onboarding rates. Fewer campaigns are approved after quality checks and filtration to actually be published. So on equity, only 6% in 2017 in Europe were approved for publication. Only 17% of peer-to-peer business lending on average were approved for publication. When we look into the non-investment models, we see much higher levels. So on donations, 74% were approved for publication. On the reward-based crowdfunding, 47% were approved for publication. So we see a difference between the investment and non-investment models. On the other hand, when we look into the success rate, among those that were approved for publication, success rates are extremely high in absolutely all cases, with the exception of consumer loans. There, the success rate is lower, around 29%, but still quite high overall, 30%. Nevertheless, in equity, in business lending, we see around 80%, 81, 83% success rates. And on the reward and donation, we see lower success rates, but still quite high. In reward, 66%, on donation, 74%. This basically means that if you do a good job and you provide a quality campaign and you work very hard with promoting it, at least in recent years, you had a very high chance of succeeding, higher than in any other alternative channel you could look at. 80, 90, 70% success rates are quite high. To conclude, it's very important to highlight that crowdfunding means better and more consumer opportunities overall. Crowdfunding does not mean easy money. You do not just publish a campaign and money falls from the sky. You need to work very hard on it, and that can be a subject for a different presentation, how to make a crowdfunding campaign successful. It's also important to stress that crowdfunding platforms are not banks and are not investment companies. They are more of like dating websites between fundraisers and backers rather than financial institutions. As such, they are also subjected to different legal regimes, and it's very important that if you do this, you will do this with a properly operating platform that follows current regulations. Crowdfunding also implies a greater say for consumers and greater influence, so customer empowerment. So if you are concerned about your own power versus suppliers, then you should support crowdfunding. It also implies more projects can get funded and more funders can participate. And when we specifically talk about crowd lending, we can talk about greater structural stability. Unlike traditional financial institutions that provide loans based on money they don't really have, in crowdfunding or in crowd lending, no loan is given without a real money standing behind it that came from the crowd. So in that respect, from a structural stability perspective, it's actually safer than traditional lending mechanisms. It remains to be seen what are the actual default rates and failure rates, but from what we know, these are quite low today and remain low, but as the industry grows and then the usage expands, this might increase. Hope you found this interesting. Good luck in your crowdfunding in the future, and thank you again for the opportunity to present this to you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Rotem, for the very insightful presentation. And I request everyone to have a look on the video descriptions, and there you will find our publication list on crowdfunding, and also the link to the book, which is open access, so everyone can download and read the book freely. Also check out the OEA Crowdfunding Research Center website for all the works Rotem and his team has been doing. Okay, and thank you very much.